Good day, everyone. We are Group 11, and today we will be presenting on cyberbullying in Malaysia. My name is Usman Ahmad Chaudhary, joined by my teammate Mohammad Hassan Chaudhary. This presentation is part of our MPU 3193 course Falsafah under the guidance of Ms. Suleha. Our focus today is to explore the issue of cyberbullying through multiple lenses: statistical, psychological, philosophical, and national values. The digital age dilemma. Cyberbullying is one of the unfortunate consequences of living in the digital age. Unlike traditional bullying, cyberbullying does not stop when the bell rings. It follows victims into their homes, turning digital devices into constant sources of anxiety. Because it is borderless and anonymous, victims cannot find a safe space. This makes cyberbullying uniquely destructive compared to conventional forms of harassment. Our research objectives. Okay. So, for the global crisis, globally, UNICEF reports that in 1 in 3 young people have experienced online bullying. That is an alarming statistic that highlights how widespread this issue is. In Malaysia, the seriousness is evident. Between January and November 2024, there were 8,399 cyberbullying complaints recorded. That's 27 cases every single day. These figures remind us that cyberbullying is not a marginal issue, but one that touches lives across all levels of society. So, our objectives of our research is that we'll set it out in three main objectives. Firstly, we want to measure the prevalence of cyberbullying in Malaysia by analyzing current data and trends. Second, we aim to examine the impacts, particularly on mental health, education, personal relationships, and all sort of personal life. And third, we sought to apply philosophical wisdom and Rukun Negara principles in order to purpose meaningful and value-based solutions for Malaysia's digital society. Now, just let's just jump into the understanding of the key terms. To understand the issue clearly, we define some key terms. Cyberbullying refers to harmful digital behavior that is persistent and targeted. Cyberstalking is harassment that often escalates to real-world threats. Doxing means exposing someone's private information online without consent, and digital footprint is the trail of online actions that form an individual's permanent digital reputation. These definitions help us distinguish different forms of online harm that are caused by cyberbullying in Malaysia or all around the world. Now, firstly, let's just discuss about the root causes that result in cyberbullying. In Malaysia, several factors drive cyberbullying. First, our very high internet penetration. 97.4% of Malaysians are online. That creates enormous spaces for interaction, but also for abuse. Second, anonymity, online and weak enforcement that would make cyberbullying feel like a low-risk crime. Third, peer pressure and the need for online acceptance that push young people to harmful behaviors. And lastly, legal gaps. Since Malaysia does not yet have a dedicated cyberbullying law, that would make enforcement inconsistent and more opportunities for cybercrimes in Malaysia. Now, let's just discuss the devastating impacts of cyberbullying. The impact of cyberbullying ripple across individuals and society. On mental health, victims experience depression, anxiety, and suicidal behavior. Studies indicate around 17% of victims consider or attempt suicide. On education, many students skip school or disengage from learning entirely. On relationships, trust breakdown, and the victims withdraw from families and friends. This and the impact that we have on our society would be economic costs, stretched law enforcement, and erosion of social cohesion. Cyberbullying is not an individual problem, it burdens the entire nation. Now, let's just look at the statistics. You can looking at the trends, you'll see in 20 to 21, we had over 6,500 complaints that were filed. In 2022, there were 4,128 cases, and in 2023, about 3,700 cases were reported. But in 2024, the number spiked to 8,400 cases in just 11 months. That's nearly double the previous year. The Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission also removed 8756 harmful items from online platforms in 2024. These figures show that cyberbullying is not just persistent, but actually growing. And in most instances, it might not be reported. That won't show up in the statistics. So that is like also one of the concerns that one should consider when discussing cyberbullying. For my research sources and to guide our analysis, we have relied on three major sources. A healthcare journal that was published in 2022 that showed strong links between cyberbullying and suicide risk amongst Malaysian adolescents. An article from a Very Well Mind that was published in 2025 that explained how digital anonymity worsens harmful behavior. And lastly, the resources from PACER Center, which compared cyberbullying with traditional bullying, highlighting unique challenges in digital contexts. These sources provided a foundation for understanding both the scope and the depth of the issue. Now, I will hand over the presentation to my peer, Mohammad Hassan Chaudhry, who will continue by analyzing cyberbullying from philosophical and national perspectives. And he'll also discuss our group reflections and what the proposed solutions could be. Over to you, Hassan.
Thank you, Usman. Now let's examine cyberbullying through philosophy. So, from an Islamic perspective, cyberbullying contradicts the Quranic teaching that condemns gossip and slander. Protecting dignity and reputation is sacred, and harmful online speech violates these principles. From a Buddhist perspective, the Noble Eightfold Path emphasizes right speech, where it must be truthful, kind, and beneficial. Online insults, gossips, and hostility clearly violate this principle, carrying negative karmic consequences. Usman, can you please turn off your mic?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, worries. Philosophical wisdom. So, Confucianism stresses reciprocity. Treat others as you would like to be treated, and social harmony. Cyberbullying destroys harmony and disrespects other dignity. When we combine these traditions, Islamic ethics, Buddhist compassion, Confucian reciprocity, we see common values: truth, empathy, self control, and respect. These values give us a moral framework to guide digital behavior in Malaysia. Moving on to the next slide, I will present a Rukun Negara analysis. So, turning to Malaysia's own guiding principles, the Nukun Negara. The rule of law reminds us that cyberbullying must be addressed with proper legislation. Without a clear anti cyberbullying law, offenders often escape accountability. Strengthening law ensures justice and equality online. The principle of Courtesy and morality. I'm sorry. Uh, can you just give me a minute? The principle of courtesy and morality stresses respectful conduct. Online, this means empathy, digital etiquette, and being mindful before posting. Together, these principles provide both legal and cultural foundation for combating cyberbullying. Moving on to the next slide. So, I would, before starting this speech, many of us thought that cyberbullying was simply online teasing, someone less serious than physical bullying. But the evidence have changed our view. We now realize that cyberbullying is a severe mental health risk linked to depression and suicide. This project also made us more conscious of our own digital behavior, encouraging us to practice greater empathy and responsibility online. Moving on, so to provide a group reflection on the assignment, so working on this project also strengthened our teamwork. Coordinating research among multiple team members taught us delegation, time management, and respect for different viewpoints. We learned to integrate statistics, philosophy, and national values into one coherent narrative. So the experience was not just academic, but it was also personal, shaping how we approach online interactions and group collaboration. So, to move forward, I would present some of the solutions to this cyberbullying. So, I would recommend a multi layered solution. Firstly, the policy. Malaysia must enact a dedicated cyberbullying law with clear definitions and punishments. So, the current laws are too vague, and I would say they are too old for this point of time. Secondly, education. Introducing digital literacy and ethical online behavior into school curriculum. Students must learn early about the privacy, responsible posting, and empathy. Moving to the next slide. So, on the third solution that I would provide would be support systems. Schools and universities should provide counseling services, hotlines, and confidential reporting channels. Victims need safe spaces to seek help. And fourth, the community change. Influencers, community leaders, and religious organizations should promote empathy and respectful communication. Campaigns can normalize kindness and make cyberbullying socially unacceptable. So, to conclude our assignment, I would say cyberbullying is a pressing public health and moral issue in Malaysia. It is driven by anonymity, peer pressure, and weak legal frameworks. Its impact are devastating, from suicide to education loss and social fragmentation. The solutions must be integrated: stronger laws, education reforms, support systems, and the culture shifts. By combining the philosophical traditions and the ideals of Rukun Nigara, we can make Malaysia's digital world safer, healthier, and more respectful. So, now I would like to close of our assignment. Thank you for your attention. So, that concludes our presentation on cyberbullying in Malaysia. We now welcome any questions or reflections.
Thank you, Hassan. Well, I really appreciate your insights on cyberbullying, and I believe just to give some concluding remarks, cyberbullying is one of the major concerns, not in just Malaysia, but all around the globe. And if these are tackled correctly, I believe this can be dealt accordingly, and obviously we'll see a downward trends of the cases that we see are being reported on a daily basis. And also, we should encourage people who are being affected by cyberbullying that they should come forward and tell us their story. Because if no one speaks for themselves, no one can help them. Well, uh, with that said, I would like to conclude our presentation, and I really appreciate you guys for watching the video. And if there's anything, you know our names, and we can be reached out at any times. Thank you very much. अब जो हंसे हैं उसको काट ले।